Dallas Mavericks guard, son of Dell, brother of Steph, former Duke Blue Devil. You know, I applied to Duke, would not let me in.
Oh, that's surprising.
No, it's not. I'm dumb. You'll find that out by the end of the interview. So I applied to Duke, and my grades did not match up, and I don't think they wanted my kind there. I was, kind of a goofy kid. So you go to Liberty, but you played with your brother in high school.
Yeah, we played 1 year together in high school. We lost in the state championship. Actually, my dad, he was a few years retired then. He was the assistant coach for that year, so we had a lot of interesting practices and
stuff.
You
couldn't win the championship.
Man, it was a tough one, man. We had that team we played. We had a guy going to NC State. It was Greensboro Day. I'll never forget, man. Lost in the state championship. It was heartbreaking.
Did you ever go to your dad? Be totally honest. Now, Seth, I want you to be the most honest your whole life. Did you ever go to your dad on that team and say, Dad, Steph's a ball hog. He won't pass to me?
Oh, all the time. I wasn't starting.
You weren't starting?
Nah, I was a little fella. I was a freshman, little guy. I probably played like 5-10 minutes a game, man. I could shoot, but they didn't trust me yet. They didn't think I could help them enough.
For both you and your brother, you were overlooked largely by the D1 schools. Now, do you have a reason for that? Why would that be?
I think it's just the eye test, to be honest. We were playing AAU in high school. We both were putting up numbers, playing well, scoring, but when you came and watched us as...
You're smaller.
Yeah.
You're both like 160.
When the scouts came and watched us, you would see like the top guys were already developed and huge and could dunk and all that type of stuff, and we were just, all relied on skill and shooting the basketball, like still do. But, we just didn't pass the eye test of a big-time D1 player.
So your brother came into the league, had an injury early, was a good player, and then popped.
Yeah.
And I've said this before about your brother. It's odd. Generally speaking, we kind of know, Tim Duncan, Dwight Howard, Larry Bird, Magic. Most stars in basketball, you spot them early, about 16 years old, and then you're just waiting for them. Your brother, nobody was paying attention, comes into the league, good player, and then he popped. Confidence? Who do you think, who deserves? It's obviously your brother, but...
it's confidence, but if you really watched him growing up, he was dominated on every level he played. This is similar to that. The thing being under-recruited, eye test type thing, he was dominant in high school, dominated in college, leading the country in scoring. He was runner-up to Rookie of the Year his first year in the league, to Tyreek, who had a great year. He was good. But I guess eye test, he wasn't like a prodigy growing up, like you said, so people didn't think he would be what he is. But me watching every game he ever played, things like that, I'm like, he's going to be fine in the league. He's going to be a star. And now to say like two-time MVP, I won't go that far.
Now, does this, Steve Kerr gets a lot of credit. Does Mark Jackson deserve some of that?
I think so. When he got there, Mark Jackson said some wild things to empower him
like
and Clay. I think it's known like he was saying they're the best shooting combo to ever play the game.
They were.
They were. That's before people really believed it. He was saying it, telling them, playing them a lot of minutes, started Clay.
Yep.
When they had traded Monty out of there. So, I think that gave him a lot of confidence.
So let's look at your path. You go, your brother goes to Davidson, you go to Liberty, then you go to Duke, and then it gets you, let's talk Mike Krzyzewski. Mm-hmm. So Mike Krzyzewski is one of the few guys, big winner in college, dealt with pros. If I said to you, give me like one thing, if Mike Krzyzewski retired tomorrow, and I said, Seth, what's the one thing he taught you about basketball? What's his strength as a coach?
I think it's passion. He's at his age, he comes to the gym, still one of the most passionate guy in the gym, hates to lose. It's about competing every day in practice. It's rare we have a rest day in practice. It's competing. He's recruiting the top guys in the country, but he's not telling them coming in, you're going to start. You got to earn your spot, things like that. It's about competition. And I think that's the main thing I picked up from him is you got to earn your spot every day.
Does he bark a little bit?
Oh, absolutely.
I heard practice he's a barker.
Oh, yeah. He's tough. He's tough on you. But that's the only way you're going to get the most out of your players at the college level. You got to stay on them, things like that.
So then you go to the D-League. And I've been saying this, after about the 10th pick in the draft, because everybody now is young that comes into the NBA, a lot of guys end up in the D-League. Mm-hmm. So here's your dream. You're watching your brother. And now you go to Duke. So a lot of Duke guys end up in the NBA, and you start in the D-League. I want you to go to a point in the D League when you doubted you'd make the NBA. Was there a hotel? Was there a game? Was there a town that you looked around and went, man, I'm a long way from the association?
I mean, there were times when that happened. I mean, I don't know exact time, but the D League is in a place where they make it comfortable for you. You know what I'm saying? You're in tough hotels, tough gyms, tough environments, things like that. They make it so you don't want to stay.
Is it bus rides?
That's what I feel like. You have bus rides. You have 6 a.m. Commercial flights and middle seats to play it back to back. You know what I'm saying? It's rough. But, I mean, for me, I was always confident. I was fortunate enough to get in situations where I could play well, play a lot, and show some things that people didn't see from me in college, like playing the point guard and things like that. So it was a good experience for me.
By the way, when your brother came out with that pharmaceutical nurse's grandpa shoe, did you wear it or buy it? Come on.
I wore it all the time, man.
Oh, come on.
I got killed on Twitter for it because I put a picture of me wearing it, and I was like, I made it look good, but they killed me for it.
You made it look good.
I don't know, man. I like them. I wore them. I'm on to the threes now, but those ones he got killed for last year, they work for me.
Now, I grew up with your dad. So your dad was a great shooter. He was a great shooter. And by the way, your dad was one of the few guys like that shot threes well. Like now everybody shoots them.
Yeah.
But your dad was a guy that was known as, Dell shoots threes. Mm-hmm. So if your brother, you've probably been asked this 100 times, but if you, Steph, and your dad just played horse.
It's 50. Anybody can win, man. My dad can still shoot it. I was saying earlier, he doesn't like to move. He's not going to play us one-on-one anymore. But if we can get outside and play horse, a knockout game, something like that, he's in the competition.
So your dad's close.
Oh, he can shoot it. That's not left him. I know that.
That is great, Seth Curry. So you're a Dallas Maverick, and I want to mention this. You have a basketball camp in Thousand Oaks, California. Yeah. Go to SethCurryCamp.com, SethCurryCamp.com. It's mid-July, north of here, beautiful area, Thousand Oaks, SethCurryCamp.com. Finally, Mark Cuban. He's on Shark Tank.
Yeah,
he's only owner in the NBA that's more famous than half his players. Give me a Mark Cuban story. What do you see with him?
To me, I always say he's like a super fan who owns the team. So he's everywhere with us. He's in the locker room. He's on the bench after you make a run, call a timeout. He's out there the first one to chest bump you, things like that. So I mean, it's a little weird at first when you get there and you see the owner doing that type of stuff, but. I mean, it gets comfortable, and it's a good experience for me. I think the weirdest thing was the first game, preseason game. I'm in the locker room getting ready, getting stretched out, and in comes Mark, full sweat, and he lays on the training table next to me and starts getting stretched out before the game. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, he does this every game.
Treadmill.
He gets on the treadmill, works out, comes back, gets stretched out. He'll go out and shoot a little bit sometimes. I mean, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, if we owned a team, that's what we'd do. Seth Curry, great to meet you. SethCurryCamp.com. Continued success to your family. Great family.
All right, thanks a lot.
You bet.